Kadron.
This episode we're
Listen,
mainly
I'm
gonna
not
look
safe
at
with this
Veigar
here,
doing too much.
but Kadron is fucking running it most of these games. I'm not gonna lie.
Trying to
I don't know
make
if he
things happen
knows
that's
that
not
himself.
real.
0-10?
Fuck do you mean, Neme? The fuck is he on about, that guy? Even with Sally as our support, he says. Yo, editor, can you create a thank you graphic with enough space for a player photo? I just need that in backup.
The first thing that I want to talk about is Veigar doing too much. So, taking a look at Veigar's jungle pathing, doing raptors into Krugs into red, as we can see here in the early game, signals that he wants to play for topside.
My bad.
Which is fine. My problem is, doing these ganks in early game, I really dislike these days. The reason for this is, objective, stacking soul, stacking grubs is really important. When you do this type of ganks, interrupting your clear, your tempo and your flow of the game gets a bit awkward, and it's going to be harder to punish enemy doing the first Drake, or you'll be late on the grubs. You're going to fall behind. This is not a gank that I like to do. It's not worth me falling behind for. If you take a look at Poppy's lane condition, she's down a potion, sure, but she's also up health. Why should she get a gank here rather than Veigar just full clear? If Veigar full clears here, he's going to be in this bush at 320 anyways, and he could look for the gank regardless. So I don't like this. This is first example of him doing too much. Even if he was to, let's say, kill Jax here, I would still say this is bad to do. I'd much rather have him full clear. Next play I want to talk about him doing too much is here. Coming from base, Veigar is fairly strong, with his top camp spawning up. Syndra's wave is not good, and she needs help. At least that's what he's probably communicating. If you think about how much time does Veigar have to help to actually help Syndra here, he has to kill these casters, and also kill this wave. If he only kills these casters and just leave, it doesn't actually help Syndra. So, in my opinion, Syndra should always just farm what she can and just recall and TP back. If Syndra has to give these casters of XP and gold to get her base, that is fine, that's her problem. It's not something that Veigar should fall behind on. Because here he goes mid, shows himself, which makes Jack's game easier, makes these guys' game easier. He doesn't achieve anything, as now Azir can still slow push if he wants to, and Syndra still has to give creeps. So Veigar now could already been done with the wolves, and taking Grump as it spawns. His tempo is now delayed, and also we 100% know he's topside now, which of course they could assume regardless that he's doing this, but you see his tempo is just going to be slower for no reason. Is this game losing? No, it's not. Of course, it's not game losing a decision like this, but it also didn't achieve anything either. I would be fine with this if it actually helps Neme, as in, like I said, if the other wave was too far away. Like, let's say this one was like over here, then this can be actually useful. You know, but since you're not crashing it anyways, and you don't want to commit enough time and resources to actually crash it, because you would then share XP with Syndra for the whole 2 waves, basically, just not worth it. Not worth it for his time. Next example of him doing too much, which this one, in my opinion, really hurt the game. Veigar got his team the first 3 grubs, and then he opens the map on bot side here, and he rushes for a bot play. I didn't like this play, because if you take a look at his gold, he soon has Kraken. He just needs to farm a little bit. I would want him to play for 6 grubs. I think his team comp, if they find a group timer on 6 grubs, with him having Kraken over Skarner, because he has lead over Skarner, they can get something good happening. But he opens the map here, doesn't farm his raptor spawn, tunnels on this play here that's always available. If Kai'Sa bases here, then Veigar can't get there in time. If Kai'Sa stays, then she will stay regardless, and Ezreal will win regardless. So he goes here, sweeps their wards, leaves his camps open to rush for this play that, in my opinion, he can just let his bot lane win 2v2. Trading his ult for Skarner ult is fine, that's not a problem. Rakan wasted R as well. But none of this needed to happen, right? And if you're Skarner in this situation, and your bot lane gets really chunked, and you don't see Veigar, Skarner might just come anyways, and you can get away with farming. So, like I said, I think overall game plan should just be let your bot win 2v2 here, farm your camps, play for Kraken. You can gank bot 1 time after your camps, that's fine if there's an angle, right? You can alternatively chase their tempo as well. All of that is fine. But you should not delay your tempo and hurt the grubs, because you'll see now in the long run here, this ends up being really bad for Veigar. He now farms, and now he bases, skipping his raptors, buys the Kraken. If he did what I said, he could still get Kraken, but done all of his camps. Now Grubs is spawning, Braum is not there, Ezreal is not there, Veigar's not there. Nobody's here. There's no reason why they should be allowed to take them. So, rightfully so, he now ignores the 6 grubs. Which makes sense. It makes sense to not go there now with what happened. But without making that play on bot, I feel like he should always be able to have Kraken versus no heart steal. That's the lead he got from the kill that he got earlier. I don't see why they couldn't look to play for 6 grubs. I think denying Jack's grubs is great. Denying Asir grubs is really, really good. Asir with grubs can easily cross map and make himself get fed that way. Next thing for Velia. I thought this play was really good by him, honestly. I just felt like he overextended the play. This is good. I liked all of this. I like doing Dragon. One thing I would like from Crowny though is that when he TPs back here, Kai'Sa is getting close to Kraken, right? I would have liked for Ezreal to contest this wave and slowly fight Kai'Sa, knowing he has his whole team here. He can slowly poke at Kai'Sa and match the push, I feel like, and make it harder for Kai'Sa to recall. Viego should be able to, with Syndra, to take this Dragon. Because now if Ezreal already killed this wave, Kai'Sa is not allowed to recall like this without losing waves. Kai'Sa now is already in base, and she will lose most of this wave, for sure. But you see, now she's back on the map. She should lose quite a lot more, I feel like, and more chip damage on the tower if Ezreal was just to contest the wave more. Because it's kind of scary from Kai'Sa's perspective. When this happens, if Ezreal is laning against you and your Kai'Sa here, it's kind of scary. Kai'Sa is not going to auto-attack Ezreal or do anything. This Kai'Sa, with no ult, if Ezreal shows up here, she's not going to push the way that she did. And therefore she won't get Kraken base. After doing this Dragon, when you get this Grump, enemy has very little vision. Because Braum sweeps this. I think staying bot here is a big mistake. Now you should always cross to your top side. Or go somewhere else. I think unless you're going to stand and make a line here and proxy them, unless you're going to do that, there's no point to stay bot. He ends up getting rewarded here because Rakan is master player. That is the only reason he gets rewarded. Rakan is their sub. Rakan face checks this bush here and dies for no reason. If these guys play under tower here, Velia is wasting his time. Now, he doesn't have a lot of gold. That's true. But he has other things to do. Looking for this pink, looking to clear vision, getting into top side is more important for him to do. If he assumes his top camps is gone because Skarner was topside here, then you should look to play aggressive on bot lane, which is not what they did, because they didn't deny Kai'Sa entrance to the lane. Which is why I was saying, if you're going to do this, you need Ezreal now to stand here and Viego to go here and actually fight them and deny them entrance. But if you're not confident in doing that, there's no reason to stay bot. Final thing for Velia, and final thing I thought that he just is doing too much, is here. So here he clears down to bot lane. It's good. Good job. What I don't like though is, what are we playing through here? Mid has push and bot has push. This means on these 2 waves, we should be making a play happen. What plays are available? Blue buff is spawning, bot turret is available, deep side lane push on bot lane is available. Securing red buff makes sense, it's combat power, and you have time to do it, but after he chooses Krugs. Krugs is big mistake, in my opinion. Blast gone over, connect with your team, you can use Syndra's timer, this allows Syndra to go here and go for the next wave as well, because she will have Viego and Braum around. This makes hitting bot turret easier for bot lane as well, and you can invade the Grump and the blue buff respawn, which if we go back to this play here, is what Viego was doing here. So if Velia made a better plan, he also knows their Grump respawn. So yeah, again, here after Raptor he could also do it, but I understand the greed for red. I could get behind that. It's a little bit greedy because he could already come here, but that one at least makes sense. Krugs makes no sense, and you see now a massive disconnect between Velia and his laners. Lanes are hitting tower, Grump and blue spawning, Syndra is now mid, Syndra has to think about maybe getting shuffled, Syndra has to think about maybe getting ganked, because Viego is not going to help her. Whereas if Viego and Braum was here now, Syndra could ego take this wave, one-shot it, and they could invade together, and everything is going to be so beautiful and so smooth. Instead, there's a bit of a disconnect. Now, play still ends up great for LR, but it's in a much worse way. You'll see now, they fail the dive kinda, and all of this happens. I think there's a lack of intent with what LR does. What I mean by that is, here enemy team shows everyone a bot lane. Now you have 2 options. This happens. Option 1, you let your bot lane die and you make a different play. Option 2 is you protect your bot lane. If you want to protect your bot lane, everyone has to help that play in one way or another. The Bows here has Moby Boots and TP up. Okay? TP up and Mobies. if the play is to defend bot side and retake bot side, then Poppy should always base and TP. Instead, Poppy's hitting the tower. Veigar goes halfway to mid. Instead of coming behind Jax here and like fucking with these guys, if they start to chase Veigar, then he lets his bot lane out. And Veigar can just leave. Worst case, ult away if he has to. But you see, Veigar is kind of reacting and Poppy's doing her own play. This makes this play much harder to do. Veigar pops off, kills everyone. Like I said, this went good for LR. But now imagine a Poppy coming here. So I didn't get this part. Didn't really make sense that Poppy is sitting here hitting this tower while enemy is going for like a game winning or game losing play on bot. I think they can be more on the same page. So again, make the decision faster. Here, in my opinion, Veigar should never ever look for Azir when this is happening. If our goal is to protect bot lane, he should be here and get ready to chunk the Jax. Jax is no E, face checking the bush. This will always happen. If Jax is TPing, he will always use his spells here. And Veigar is not a part of it, not thinking about defending. Poppy is not getting ready to recall and TP, because enemy team is showing their intent. It's not like Baus is recalling and then cancelling his base because Jax is leaving. I would be fine with that, but he's not thinking about how to help this at all. I thought this here was a really weird switcheroo from top and mid. So looking at Poppy, looking at Syndra. Syndra bases for Cosmic Drive makes sense, right? Syndra has TP up and so does Poppy. When you push this side wave, if they start to push side, but you already have push on side here, you see Poppy's already clearing this, you can play on this wave faster than enemy can play on their wave. You have Herald, you are up in tempo. Azir's here. I find it really strange that Syndra now wouldn't just go top with Poppy. And then these guys just come topside. Like here, they're gonna get mid prio. This is the tempo of the game, which they know. Poppy should just stay, walk up, push this wave, get this mid wave with the team here, as Ezreal Veigar. Then Syndra can either run to mid and start laning mid with TP up, or just TP top and be a part of this play and get the turret gold with the Herald with the team. And you just play 5 people top after pushing mid. Then you can get 1 or 2 towers, enemy has to respond to you when Azir eventually pushes bot lane. After you've done that play, Poppy can TP to bot if you want to. If you really want to start farming. Instead, they kind of do what I want, but it happens so slow, because now Syndra had to push instead of the Poppy that was like already in lane. Poppy could already walk up and start one-shotting this with team coming, but it happens all so late that now enemy gets to hit the next mid wave. You don't like to see this. Kai'Sa's hitting the wave, you haven't even taken tower yet. So LR's tempo is a bit awkward, Kai'Sa is already pushing and recalling, so it's hard to keep going, so that didn't make sense. Now, one bad habit that we see from LR throughout this game is their failure of being able to gather tempo. So, what I mean, when you get this tower, you can't go for this unless enemy is showing. If Kai'Sa is now hitting midway and stuff, then yeah, you can go for this. But now you should assume enemy spacing. So if you now base as LR, while they have to clear the Herald, while they have to go for all of this, the wave and stuff, you're gonna get tempo on the map. Veigar can clear bot camps and stuff. But instead they overextend, they greed, they try to go for more, they go for this wave. Now you get TP'd on, and now Syndra has to try to do some magic to get out. Now Syndra lost flash as well, which means for the important fight later, you have no Syndra flash. All of this is really, really bad, and obviously a massive throw. So next time, what I would like to see is, you get a tower, now you recall, you use the tempo you got, you open the map on bot side and mid, push out those lanes, and you're gonna have a very easy and playable map where your Syndra still has flash up. Another example that was really bad for tempo, when you go for Atacans like this, here Syndra TPs in and chase their tempo. This is good. I like this play. This play can also get you kills. What I would like to see after though is not the Atacan. Atacan here is mega bait. If you now take this wave and you like just farm as Veigar, just clear your camps and you push mid wave with someone, you're up tempo. Because you're gonna have push on this turret will die. It's not a real turret. This one will just die. You're gonna have a top wave cleared, so enemy can't make a play on top. You're gonna have mid push. Veigar's gonna be done farming. Next Drake is coming up in a minute. If you go for Atacan here, you lose all your tempo, and you will never have position for this dragon. What do you think LR does? They double down. They double down. So they still try to contest this Drake that they've now lost all their tempo to contest by doing the Atacan. So what happens? Well, Azir is playing the game with this vision, sees enemy team always, So easy game for Azir to just hit. No threat on the Azirs. Free hitting. And LR gets fucked, obviously. Instead, what I would like to see, if you're gonna do Atakan, which was completely trolled, they should not do the Atakan, but if you're gonna do the Atakan, enemy team has no TPs here, legit just rage push top lane with Ezreal. You cannot, like, assume you're gonna get this Drake here. Just rage push top, Veigar Braum go top, Poppy go top, everyone go top, and give Ezreal vision, and get mid wave, and get top, and just try to trade this, or at least this, for the dragon. It's not ideal, you would kind of want to get sold this game, but it is better than to pull up like this and just get stopped. Okay, with that being said as well, what is bro doing? We cannot be locking in Poppy and have our Poppy go in the mid wave. Our Poppy should be standing on top of us. If somebody's gonna go mid, it should be Velya. His champ can at least flank. His champ is like useless looking at enemy team. There's the first Baron that LR gets of this game. First of two. And generally, when you get Nash, when the last guy has recalled, so in this case, Syndra is the last guy to recall, you're meant to play the game. What I mean by playing the game is push lanes and use your Baron buff. I felt like that didn't happen. Looking at the map, tier 3 available on top, tier 2, tier 2. I would want to play for these turrets. That's what I would play for if I was in this game. Syndra has no TP and Poppy has TP. So sending Poppy to top makes sense. Veigar wants to greed for level 16, so he full cleared his top side. If Veigar is going to do this, we have to wait for Veigar. What I didn't like is what ends up happening. LR has to find a way to push 2 lanes with the Baron. If Poppy is going to take this wave, Poppy will be very late on actually grouping up with the team. Syndra is now split off from the team. There is no vision, right? I know that in hindsight, Rakan, Skarner, and everyone shows. But that is all hindsight, right? Because Rakan clears this vision, and Skarner could be anywhere, and same with Azir. It's really scary for Syndra. What I would like to see now from the Baus is to TP on the map. Why not? If Baus is going to take those top waves, he should either split push or just TP to the team. So if he thinks he beats Jax 1v1 right now, and he sees everyone, then he should just split push. If he thinks he loses to the Jax, then he should just TP to bot and start pushing, as he's way less useful group than this item Syndra right now. It's not that Poppy is bad grouped, but somebody has to set up the Baron wave. If Syndra starts to split push now, it's really hard for these guys to face check things. Syndra is going to help Veigar get resets. So here, in my opinion, Syndra should one-shot these Krugs, find a group timer with the team so we can establish vision, or Poppy could shift down to mid, and these guys could come to Syndra. But we gotta find a way for us to push 2 lanes with Baron. I think the easiest is for Poppy to simply just TP to bot, and Syndra to just run to the team here when she sees everyone, adapting to the mistake they did by showing. But like I said, an alternative is also Poppy just pushing and playing her 1v1. But Poppy grouping on mid with TP is useless. Is absolutely useless. And now Syndra is really scared. So now you'll see Neme just bases, and now we have 4 people on mid, nobody on the bot wave. Bot wave just dies because there's no Baron wave. Syndra is here, team is here, and it's so hard to use the Baron like this. After that, we have the Baus doing the funny. I like this play, to be honest. I think this play is good as long as the team has the intent of using his int. What I mean by that is, if the Baus says something like, guys, if I die here, can you guys do Elder? You know? If he says something like that, right? We chilling. If he says something like that, and the team is like, yeah, okay, we rush Drake, then I like that play. But my worry is, the Baus is doing this, and then Elder is spawning, but then look what Syndra and the people are doing. Now, obviously, this Syndra could get a kill here in a different game. But the problem is, this is spawning in 7 seconds, and every second actually matters here. Enemy team ended up almost contesting this. Is anyone from LR hitting it? No. And I don't like that calculation personally. I think a better play is the Baus saying, I'm gonna int, you guys rush Soul. And they say yes, they take this wave. They don't fish for kills, because if you fish for kills and they dash or something, you waste your time. You just take the wave, you hold this line. If they face a care, you turn on them, and then you just hit the Drake. If they start to run at you while you're hitting Drake here, then you know Skarner is way too far. Then you can just turn. So I thought that would be a better use of his, like, int on top. After, let's look for their next Baron usage again. Again, we're focusing on the trends and the habits of LR. They got Nash again. Second Nash of the game. How should they use this one?
That's the wrong answer.
The thing is, they have Viego. Viego grouped is not that useful, okay? So Viego can split push with Baron, that's one thing. Here, Viego could have been here, pushing. He's a very safe champion. He has flash up, ult up. Very safe. So he could have just went here and started pushing to allow these guys to shift down, get vision line now. You see they're rushing here on mid, but I like this wave to be here now too. Anyways, you see they now start to realize, going back down here, again, a lot of Baron time wasted. All of this time they're traveling back and forth. This is Baron time wasted. This wave could already be here. Hitting this with the Baroned up cannon. The main way you're gonna get these towers is this cannon creep just firing at the tower. This is usually how you're gonna get it. In this case, the cannon didn't get far enough up, but this is usually how you're gonna end up breaking this. Now fast forward, next thing I would like to see here is kind of similar thing, but when this happens, Viego is not useful grouped. Just stand here. Viego should stand here and Baron this. I don't like this, what Veigar is doing. He should stand here and Baron the wave. In my opinion, even better. What could have been even better? Because if you think about it, what is enemy teams engage? Rakan or Scar, kinda, right? Azir shuffling is not real. Poppy can block all of this, no? So I was thinking, shouldn't LR here just leave and just go here? And Viego can just stick around here. Viego can manage this wave. Instead of Ezreal one-shotting it, Viego could just hold the wave and slow push, allowing his team to go here. Viego can just stand like here, getting ready to come if a fight breaks out. Coming from this angle is great anyways from Viego, because it's just flank assassin champion anyways, right? Wanting to go reset. But instead, LR one-shots this wave, nobody stays to Baron it, nobody is here to hit the tower. So I didn't like that. I would have rather had Viego be here kind of slow pushing it, so that they can go for both towers. And I think both towers is way more important than the inhib as well. Just one thing to keep in mind as well. But they are on the timer because of Jax, so I understand that part. I get that part. That's not, that's not my point. I don't think they're considering their Baron with their tempo anyways, because this Jax thing is only possible because their tempo with their Baron usage was just so terrible. You know, if Viego was shifting down and starting to push bot already here, then this Jax would never ever end up here. If Viego's pushing bot now, this would never ever happen. If LR here was giving Viego vision here to split push, this Jax thing here would never ever happen. But their Baron usage is so terrible. It gives Jax so much time to make a decision.
Et tu n'as rien fait.